Good day, everyone. I'm LuFang. I'm very glad to join the conference on pedagogy and practice in technology-enhanced language learning. I would like to show my greatest thankfulness to the conference committee for providing such a wonderful online forum, especially at the time of COVID-19 pandemic around the world. Currently, I teach English in the National Taiwan Ocean University. It is located in the northern part of Taiwan, Keelung City. The campus confronts an ocean, has a fantastic, gorgeous ocean view. Today, I'm going to share my teaching experiences about implementation of reciprocal teaching technique in a WebQuest-based classroom. My presentation includes the 5 sessions, starting to talk about the backgrounds of my research. Then I present the essential literature that inspired me to use the reciprocal teaching technique, hereafter called RT, and then literature review on the effectiveness of the RT technique. I have completed an empirical research, so I briefly summarize the methods and the results. The last part is conclusion. Every educator has personal teaching beliefs. I personally dedicated to executing the core values of multiliteracies. By multiliteracies, it refers to a literacy education perspective. The 1990s, the New London Group proposed a multiliteracies pedagogy with the emphasis on multi-dimensions of literacy. They claimed that literacy teaching may go beyond written language and teach learners to interpret meanings of words through other modes. Therefore, I direct the learners to use multiple web resources to learn English. I utilized a learner-centered teaching approach in English class, enhancing learner active endeavor and autonomous learning. Listening can be viewed as one of the fundamental communication skills. I like to cultivate English learners' communication competence by facilitating them to use English in an interactive context. To sum up, I assumed that in the context of learning English as a foreign language, the students learn to construct not only English linguistics knowledge, but also word knowledge in English. There are some considerations in the current English education in Taiwan. First, there is a need to encourage English learners in Taiwan to use English as much as possible. Second, in Taiwan, most learners learn English as a foreign language. So English is learned as a subject in school. A high level of accuracy is required to achieve high scores in the exam. Most students probably seldom have the opportunity to use English in any communicational context. Third, there are limited numbers of native English-speaking teachers in all levels of schools in Taiwan. Technology can help. The teacher may set up a WebQuest-based classroom and encourage students to use website resources. The goal of English education in high school is to foster the learner's communication-oriented competence. Proficient English listening skills plays an essential role in achieving the goal. It's important to apply a teaching method to improve students' English listening ability. Among a variety of teaching methods, the RT technique can be an optimal mode to fulfill the goal. The RT technique was originally conceived to make up for the shortcomings of traditional teacher-led teaching method. Some cognitive science researchers and empirical evidence supported the effectiveness of RT on first language reading comprehension. However, the RT has not been applied to teaching English listening in the EFL context. The technology advancement and the boom of various handheld smart devices allow access to website learning tools wherever and whenever. The digital technology can be used to support English teaching and learning. Computers and other computing educational tools have been widely used to enhance learning. WebQuest is a teaching model by which the instructor cooperates computer technological tools in the classroom. In the study, I developed a web-based Quest classroom and led my students to learn English. Let's move on to the next section, literature review. In the field of English teaching and learning, two approaches receive much attention. The first is CLT. The goal is to foster English learners' communicative competence. The second is TPLT. The TPLT instructional model asks students to complete learning activities that are meaning-focused and are similar in some way to real-life activities. I design English learning curriculum based on the two approaches. Here is a study by Plinser and Brown in 1984. The study inspired me to implement a RT curriculum. They concentrated on improving first language students' ability to learn from text and developed an instructional technique with an emphasis on comprehension fostering, comprehension monitoring activities. Their research showed that RT is successful in the development of reading comprehension of 7th grade poor readers. Throughout the whole research, they emphasized three main factors. First, considerate test. Second, the compatibility of the reader's knowledge and test content. And third, the active strategies the reader employs to enhance understanding and retention. I buried them in my mind when designing my course. There are two major points in the studies. The first is the RT curriculum can be regarded as a strategy-based instruction. Teachers guide students to practice cognitive and metacognitive strategies, such as the summarizing strategy is to summarize a section of text. Questioning is to compose questions on the content. Clarifying is to engage the readers in critical evaluation during reading. Predicting is to make predictions concerning future content. Second, the RT curriculum, focusing on fostering learners' social interaction. The RT technique places an emphasis on a dialogue between students and teacher. RT is usually administered through small group mechanics and the learning goals of individual in a group. In this way, it facilitates collaboration between the group members themselves and also between students and the teachers. RT educators assume that the effectiveness of second language learning can be maximized when learners are actively engaged in social interaction. The RT technique has been applied in different subjects of education, such as mathematics education. The teachers tries to improve the students' ability to understand math word problems by using this technique. Some researchers in Taiwan indicated that RT significantly improved senior high school students' reading comprehension of geometry. The students in other countries also show that the student made significant improvements in understanding the meaning of mathematical problems. The RT method can be helpful to foster test comprehension of mathematical word problems. In general, this method may improve students' ability to comprehend the test and their communication skills. In Taiwan, some English educators used the method and examined its effects on students' English reading comprehension. Here are some studies by them. The studies dated from 2010 through 2018. To sum up, the RT has positive effects on fostering students' English reading comprehension. The next section is methods. The present study is a pre- and post-test research design. 2 classes of undergraduate students joined the study. Their English listening proficiency was at an intermediate level. The 2 classes were randomly assigned to the experimental group and the control group. The experimental group was conducted with RT treatment. There are 4 steps. The procedure starting from teacher proficient learners modeling. The stage was to demonstrate how to use strategies and how to have dialogues. Then students joined the small group activities. Each student wrote down their responses on learning sheets and took turns reporting the content. During the treatment, the teacher encouraged each student to get in touch with each other after class. The control group was taught with teacher-led lectures. The teacher dominated the teaching process. The students underwent independent practice. This group did not receive the RT intervention, and there were no small group activities. The instruments include the listening comprehension pre- and post-test. The pre- and post-test adapted from the general English proficiency test at the intermediate level. The questions are multiple choice. The questions of the follow-up tests are designed by the researcher, including true-false questions and listening dictation. The results section. The first is about the difference between the control and experimental groups in the listening comprehension post-test. There was no significant difference between the 2 groups in the listening comprehension post-test. This is probably because the participants were not good at English speaking. They used Mandarin to discuss with each other under most situations. During the treatment, the participants spent much time practicing using the 4 strategies. The next is the results of the follow-up tests. English listening detection. There was a significant difference between the 2 groups in the first test. The control group's mean score is significantly higher than the experimental groups. As well, there was a significant difference between both groups in the 4th test. The experimental group significantly outperformed the control group in the last test. The results suggest that the application of RT significantly affect the participants' English listening dictation. Here is the table demonstration of the dictation test mean scores. Then the result of true and false questions test. There were significant differences between the 2 groups in the first test and the 3rd test. Regarding the first test, the control group's mean score is significantly higher than the experimental groups. However, the experimental group significantly outperformed the control group in the 3rd test. The results suggest that the application of RT also has a positive effect on the participants' ability to answer true-false questions. Here is a table demonstrating the results of the true-false test mean scores. After demonstrating the brief statistic results, I'm going to have a conclusion on today's presentation. Implication of the study. There is still a need for second language educators to utilize teaching methods to guide students to learn a second language in an interactive environment. The instructor should provide a comprehensive English listening curriculum. The instructor should pay attention to strategy instruction in the English listening course. In the study, the participants of the RT group expressed that the strategy helped them comprehend the content. After using RT in an English class, I think the teachers should prepare themselves well with the knowledge of strategy instruction. The key points include identifying the purpose of reciprocal teaching and why the strategy is important, providing explicit instruction about what the strategy is and how to use it according to the teaching material, the teacher modeling the use of strategies and demonstrating the students' strategy responses. Echoing with my teaching philosophy in the beginning of my presentation, I think there is also a need to cultivate learner-centered English learning environment. Meyer, 2005, proposed multimedia learning principles. One of the principles is that learning is only improved when learners are active and motivated. Successful English learning draws on whether the curriculum can activate a learner to undertake an active process of knowledge construction. Whenever I design an English course and whenever I do my research, I repeatedly retrospect the following 3 educational goals. Teaching our students to take responsibility of their own learning, to develop peers' mutual supports in the process of English learning, and to acquire new knowledge and learn how to use it in the real world. That's all my presentation today. Best wishes for all of you. May you have a great success in your career and research. Thanks for your listening.